I come through here?
What? What?
Oh. Okay, alright, okay. Great, okay. What now? What? Oh. Okay. How about now? Thank you. Goodness Christmas.
What's up, guys? Shrive Tactical here. Jared, Eli, none of that's changed. We want to do a video about basically a quick comparison. We have our AR-15 style firearms, which are heavily regulated in a multitude of states, and then we have something as basic as a Mini-14 in comparison. So why don't you run us through what what we're going to do there, Jared, and talk about some talking points there.
So the idea behind this video is not it's an homage, we'll call it, to our brothers in more restricted states. I am admittedly from California. We're in Arizona here, and so obviously using California for our fun intro was kind of easy pickings. But this video is for anyone that lives in, and I'm going to forget them all. There's 10 states plus the District of Columbia that all restrict heavily assault weapons, as they're called, or the AR platform. And for those of you in Colorado, it's coming really soon.
Get ready. Yeah.
I think you got about a year or so.
I think the end of 26 or end of summer 26.
August of 26, I think. So with all that being said, when I was in California, I never bothered to buy the AR. I know that there's ways that you can put them together with the Monte Carlo style stock or the big fin that could go behind the pistol grip, which would make it California compliant, or you had to lock your mag release button. And I'm sure all the different states have a bunch of different variations of what their restrictions look like. If you were in California during Freedom Week a couple of years ago, obviously you have a good excuse to have regular standard capacity magazines and things like that. But when I was in California, I didn't bother with the AR platform. I ran different versions of like a Monte Carlo style rifle with 10-round mags, and then obviously some sort of optic on there, just because it made the most sense to me. I want to be able to swap my mags out really quickly. So what we're going to do is a couple of drills, a variation of the shrive drill, of course, and then what's the other one we're gonna do?
Maybe a standard build drill,
like a build drill,
okay, sort of around there. But we want to also, with that shrive drill, we're gonna get a reload in there, and I think that's where the big crux is going to become, which is going to be the separator right down the line here between your AR style firearm and the Mini.
Obviously with the push button mag release on this one, I think the mag changes are going to be a lot faster. This is more of an AK style with the lever and the release. This same conversation, however this goes, we thought about doing this with the M1A and then like an AR-10 style, but I think this is going to be a good enough comparison. And it's not to rub in the face of people who are in restricted states to say like, well, look what you can't have. That's not the point at all. In fact, it's almost the opposite. It's like, we stand with you. Like, I know it sucks. I was happy to leave California for a bunch of reasons. Gun ownership was one of them. But some of you are in places where you have great jobs, or the Second Amendment isn't your number one priority, and that's totally fine.
Or it's your home and you refuse to, abandon it, which is noble.
I have a lot of respect for people who are like, screw it, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to fight for our rights in this particular state, wherever you are. So all of that said, the point of this video is to just run drills with both, just get an idea of what the timing is on both of them for some of the drills we're going to do, accuracy on both, things like that. And it's just, we stand with our brothers and sisters in restricted states, and you guys keep fighting the good fight, and we'll do everything we can to fund some of those entities that help fight for you.
We'll enjoy the state we live in that doesn't strangle our Second Amendment rights.
Come on over. We'll let you, you can shoot the can. They are fun. So with that being said, we're going to get out on the range. We're going to do some shooting and see what it looks like.
We're going to run the build drill here. We got the AR-15. I'm going to run this one first for our comparison to the Ruger Mini-14, which is still California compliant at this point, from what I understand. So here we go.
Shooter ready?
Shooter's ready.
Dude,
What?
you can't run the FRT on this.
Why not?
We're trying to do like apples to oranges with the Mini-14 to an AR, not freaking that, you know, rock and roll mode practically. That's like apples to dragon fruit.
Sorry. I won't do it again, okay?
Goodness, great. Hey, on that note, 1.87. So fast, as you might expect.
Yeah. All right, we're running the build drill here. In all seriousness now, we have Ruger's Mini-14, which is on the fly list in the state of California and many other states that do have, AR-style rifles that are restricted. So we're going to run the build drill, 6 rounds. We're roughly at 10 yards here. Here we go.
Shooter ready?
Shooter's ready.
All right, 2.44. Not bad.
No, that's not terrible. Obviously the thing shoots great.
Yeah.
I mean, first glances, the Monte Carlo stock, it definitely changes it. It's not as effective. We're going to run another drill here. We're going to run a reload in the middle of it. But overall, shooting it, she's good.
Ruger Mini-14, California compliant. I do know that.
Well, other than the magazine, we don't have a 10-round mag because we live, well, not in California.
So only shooting 6 on this though. So California compliant drill. How about that?
Shooter ready.
Shooter ready.
.193.
193. I think I hit 5 out of 6.
I thought I saw some dirt fly.
Yeah.
But all right, decent time. 193.
Yeah, not bad. Overall, it's a pretty lightweight package. Relatively maneuverable. You would mention the Monte Carlo versus a pistol grip, which for sure just changes kind of the process and your grip angle. But it's something you just train with it. You'll get used to it.
And at the end of the day, I don't know. I mean, if I grab one with that style of stock, I grab it, and I don't even know if I think about it.
That's
to be
true.
Completely honest. So,
yep. Regular AR-15, no rock and roll switch on this.
No happy mode.
No, just standard mode. Get off me, fly. All right, build drill 10 yards. Shooter ready. Woo!
197. That's pretty good.
Okay, so I shot the Mini at 193 or 196, and then this was 197.
Yeah,
so
I mean, we're talking a couple hundredths of a second.
So
difference.
Speed between the two, I mean, negligible really. Obviously we have the Hollison Ames on that one, so we have a nice green dot on that one. So apples to apples in terms of pulling it up and having that sight picture. The difference really being the weight of the guns and then the pistol grip versus the Monte Carlo on the other. But either one, whichever one you run, you just train with, you'll get used to. So Mini-14 stands up pretty well in this little drill. All right, so normally the shrive drill is a relatively standard pattern of 2s and then 1s, but we've got 4 targets instead of 3, and we're doing this California style. So unless you bought your mags during Freedom Week a few years ago, you've got 10 rounders. So even though these are 20 rounders, we're only putting 10 in. You know what? Because we stand in solidarity with our restricted state brothers. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mag change, and then 5-round mag dump on the big torso, because we just spent 19 seconds talking about it, and that's what we decided to do. So low ready, safety off.
Roger. Shooter ready.
Shooter ready. Okay.
All right, we got all 15 shots recorded, 16.01.
All right, so obviously I'm just speculating here. 2 misses out of the whole drill, not too bad. The green dot shows up really nicely. This Hollison Ames is doing a good job on a nice bright day like today. Mag changes on this, right, compared to an AR. So an AR, manual of arms, press the button, mag drops out. Your next one's in, you drop it with your left thumb and you're rolling. This is, pull it out, especially if you were going to try to retain your mags. throw it in a dump pouch, put the next one in, rock it in, come over kind of AK style, drop it, and then keep rolling. Definitely a little bit more of a cluster, I think, to the AR, but I mean, it shot accurately. I like doing it.
The barrel's straight.
The barrel is straight.
Oh, that's loose.
That was loose.
The Mini-14 here, we're going to do that shrive drill. I'm going to try to emulate whatever the heck Jared just did as far as the pattern, because we're changing things on a weekly basis now. But here we go.
Shooter ready?
Shooter's ready. Oh, she's stuck.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I forgot about the mag dump. I tried to start over again there.
Yeah, I saw that. 16.56.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
All right. As far as shooting it, accuracy, everything, it's everything you need. It's right there. It's great. I think it's easy to maneuver, get on target, especially with this Holliston on there. Reloads suck. But that being said, it's something I really don't shoot this one that much. This style, basically, similar to the M1A or this Mini-14 here, and getting the mags in and out can be a bear. But practice is going to make perfect and permanent. So if you stick with it and get used to that, those problems are going to go away. As far as pointing her down range and finding target and shooting, especially with this optic, again, it's good.
All right, same deal. The manufactured shrive drill for today's video with the free state version of an AR-15. Again, 10 rounds in this mag, and then in my sweet tactical Victos pants, 5 rounds here in my little pocket holder. So, with that and all the winds being said, let's shoot her.
Shooter ready.
Shooter ready. Oop. Huh.
13.67.
Okay, so
overall, you got faster for sure.
Yeah.
You still, a little stumble on the reload.
Yeah, and as you like to point out when you shoot my rifles, this is not my rifle. This one's yours. So anywho, couldn't get the mag to drop free. Had to kind of pull her out, reset the next one. But I think the biggest difference, obviously, when we talk about manual of arms, is when you go into your next mag, you don't have to rock anything in, come over and drop the bolt. You're just, you're hitting your bolt release button and you're back on target. So, and we're doing these cold, like no warm-ups, nothing like that. So you could definitely shave some time and some smoothness off of that. But as a whole, I think it proved what we thought it would prove. Both rifles super easy to point, aim, shoot. AR-15 platform a little bit simpler to reload.
Easy right off the top.
Absolutely. Yep. But in any case, all right, good stuff.
Shrive drill here. We have got your basic AR here, as Jared has pointed, the free states version. So we're going to run that shrive drill again. Here we go. Shooter is ready.
Okay. Ooh, nice. 12.47.
Okay.
Nice smooth reload.
Took some shrapnel, sorry.
Oh.
It's being a reoccurring thing that's happening to us here at this shooting location. So, again, I think the biggest thing is reload. Obviously, I fumbled pretty good on the Mini. Again, with practice, that could smooth up. But naturally, I just feel like the mag kind of fights you initially, especially if it's not a firearm that's used on a regular basis. A lot of reloads, a lot of magazine exchanges. Those things are going to loosen up and kind of wear in as it goes. Again, pointing and shooting, they're on the same level to me. The reload is where it's at.
Whew. All right. So long day.
Oh yeah.
Back here, and I guess we forgot to say this on the intro, but we're back. We're in our new, slightly upgraded Shrive Tactical studio. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. We need some AC in here. That would be nice.
Yeah, it is. It's summer in AZ, so you know.
Well, after being up in the desert shooting for a while.
Yeah, we did. Sorry. Yeah, we had to trek a little further than we normally do to get to some shooting spots due to some fire restrictions in our state. But
Yeah.
you know, we got her done.
But you know, YouTubing's hard, right? Anywho, I think what we showed in the drills, I don't think it's really surprising, right? The bill drill, the times were really similar. This, despite the stock, you know, this isn't a huge change from here to a pistol grip in terms of just coming up to eye level and putting rounds on target. I think, um, gosh, if I remember correctly, I think I shot this one faster than I did the. Well, it wasn't that AR; it was the other one, but
Mm-hmm.
it was negligible, right? I mean, so in that regard, this is a fantastic platform. So with all that being said, I think clearly in the drills you could see that the mag change is where the big difference is, and it's not to say that we didn't practice with this a whole lot. Neither of us own AKs currently, so we don't have a lot of those manual of arms built into our muscle memory. But you know, having said that, it still is a slightly longer process, especially if you wanted to capture your mag. So if you're not just dumping them on the ground, if you want to move it, dump it in a dump pouch, put the next one in, can be done faster than we did it. I'm quite certain.
Oh, 100%.
But at least with us, it was the AR-15 just makes that particular piece of the whole puzzle a lot faster. What do you think?
I'm going to add a couple minor notes and agree more or less. Probably just beat a horse a little bit to what he just said. At the end of the day, I think these will be if you practice, you're going to have less issue with it. But I find it to be a pain in the rump. But again, I do not shoot my M1A or my Mini nearly enough to be fluid at the mag changes, and that's the biggest thing. Obviously, once you do get your mag in, obviously dropping the bolt and whatnot, things like that, there's a change. If you practice it, you are going to nail it and you're going to be solid. But as far as pointing and shooting, virtually no difference.
Yep.
Again, for me, pistol grip, obviously it's comfortable, but right here, I didn't even think about it. When it's in my hand, it's a natural thought. So, obviously, once again, reloading is the just absolute, humdinger there. Obviously, accessories, I don't know what kind of accessories or forward rails you'd be able to put on something like this or an M1A versus obviously, the AR-15 platform, which is just catered to adding anything and everything to your firearm. But other than that, great fun shooting both of them. With the Mini, just one little side note: if you guys shot Minis, you know this. You can tag someone with brass from about 40 yards away almost. So, but anyways, had a fun day shooting.
Yep.
And kind of answered some basic questions or whatnot. But certainly, if I was in one of the restricted states and this firearm was on the fly list, this would be one of my go-tos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that there's more companies doing work for you. Lever actions that are mag fed with 5.56, 9 mil, things like that. There's California by itself is a huge gun market, despite the politics and everything else. Then you add in New York and some of the other populated states, despite the fact that they're heavily restricted. I mean, there's still a ton, millions of gun owners in those states and people who spend good money on their Second Amendment right. So again, I just want to recap. This video was just something that was on my mind a little bit, being that I'm from California and dealt with that for a long time before we moved out here a little over a decade ago. But this is for all of you guys in all the restricted states, and keep fighting the good fight, and we'll keep supporting the entities that go to bat for you too, like Gun Owners of America, Cal Guns Foundation, things like that. So thanks for watching, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. I did actually do 20 push-ups just to get a little pump on.
I'm not even remotely surprised.
Yeah. Off. Low ready. Weapon loaded. Weapon was loaded.
Now he's around short.
But that's actually okay. It's not okay. Give me a sec.
Not okay at all.